Good afternoon. It is Tuesday, February 9th. Skipped yesterday. Worked all day. Played D&D with my buddies in the evening. Great fun. Although I might have accidentally introduced a pointless distraction that's interesting enough that it may take them a couple sessions to explore. But it is interesting in its world building. So, it's fun still, but not really related to the plot. Whoops. Didn't even mean to. It's just explaining the world, and now all of a sudden they're exploring weird extra-dimensional space. Oh well. It is, of course, still snowy and freezing and terrible outside. So, not a fan. But it is what it is. And I'm still on the weird work schedule, helping out with the training department. So, didn't get off work until like 5 o'clock. Which is an hour and 15 minutes later than usual. But it is a Tuesday and I want to watch another movie. Because I'm loving that I'm watching movies. I'm loving that I get to look forward and think about what movie am I going to watch next. And I have this big wall, and I now find myself occasionally just coming up to the wall and thinking about, oh, I can't wait to watch that, or I've never actually seen this one. When am I going to watch that? Just the wall of movies. And it's fun. It's a lot of fun. But wanted to pick one that's, again, more on the short side. Thinking, what's another option? I had an idea for another good one that I probably will get to in not too long, because it's one that maybe people haven't seen, but it's older, and I'm like, I've watched several of the movies that I've watched so far are older. Let's watch one that's not quite so old. Still a bit old, but at least within my lifetime. Austin Powers. International Man of Mystery. It's funny. It's a funny one. It's been, of course, years since I've seen it. If I recall, I think I watched Spy Who Shagged Me before I saw the first one. I'm not sure why. Probably just was available. And then I went back and watched this because I was like, oh, that was good. So, and it's as I said, it's within my lifetime, but it's still old enough that it's like promoting, like, this is what the DVD menus look like on the back of the box, because literally they're promoting animated interactive menus. That's a feature on this DVD, because you care about the menus when you go to put in a movie. Like, man, I hope the menus on this one aren't boring. Are they going to be animated and allow you to interact with them? So, little signs of its age. Little crude. But, funny all the same. I always open the box assuming that there's going to be a movie in there. There's not. Movies don't go in there until after I've watched them. Duh. Movies are in here. It's going to be in this one. Because it's in the A's. So I'm going to pull out the movie. And I'm going to watch Austin Powers. And I would give Austin Powers, International Man of Mystery, a 7.2 out of 10. It's enjoyable, it's funny. Although, also at the same point, it makes me think, gee, I should watch James Bond movies. Which, at some point I may. Because I got some. In fact, thinking about it, I'm like, there are holes in my James Bond movie collection. Doing this makes me think, as I go through, should I correct that issue? We'll see. It's hard for me to imagine that there's anyone out there who has not watched Austin Powers. It's hard to imagine, but I suppose there probably are people out there that haven't seen it. From the back of the box, simple summary. Frozen in the 60s. Secret agent Austin Powers is thawed back into action to once again battle his arch enemy, Dr. Evil. With his sexy sidekick, Miss Kensington, Austin must stop Dr. Evil's outrageous plot to control the world. But first, this time-warped swinger must get hip, quick, and discover that there's no free love in the 90s. And basically, it's a parody on James Bond and the spy movie genre, but to me, that is James Bond. With the main character, the spy in this case, played by Mike Myers, is this swinging 60s hipster. And comedy ensues. It is interesting, as the movie is written and produced by Mike Myers, that he's written himself as this desirable sex icon. Wonder where he came up with the idea to do that. But then he also plays Dr. Evil. So he plays both the good guy and the bad guy. One of them movies where the actors play in a couple of roles. It's funny. It's enjoyable. But again, made me just think, man, as I see certain things and I'm like references to certain James Bond movies and I'm like, I should watch that movie. But he's, in spite of all of his flaws and sexist tendencies, he's a lovable character. And I guess that's the concept behind it. Part of me, has long wondered, if or when they're going to try and do a fourth one. First two were great. The third one was acceptable. But I definitely have long thought, gee, it'd be nice to have another. See what they could do. But then, this was set in the 90s, and contrasting the difference between the 60s and the 90s. At this point, there's such a contrast between the 90s and today that the differences that were there before have compounded even further. Which could, on one hand, leave an audience that may just not be interested in seeing another Austin Powers movie. Or it could give them a fresh start for the same old plot as before, where he's adjusted to the 90s and now trying to, live in today's age and see how the differences could change things there. Could be interesting. I'd like to see it. But, I don't know, if you pay attention to my collection of movies, I have a lot of sequels. I'm definitely one of those guilty of encouraging Hollywood to create sequels because I enjoy characters and I latch on and I'm like, I like that, I want more of that. Like sequels, I like musicals, and this is certainly by no means a musical, but it does definitely put care into the music that it uses. There's definite thought put into that. And it does open the movie with a musical dance sequence. Non-lyrical musical dance sequence. Just score with the whole city streets dancing along. Anyways. Austin Powers is fun, and at some point I'll watch and talk about the sequels. For now, I am already getting very tired. So I'm gonna try and pull things together right quick. Finish tidying things up for the evening and call it a night. Thank you for joining me. Join me as my journey continues.